I was in my apartment, sitting in front of the television, trying to understand what was happening in the world. The news spoke of massive disappearances across the planet. No one knew why or how it was happening, but it was terrifying. Uncertainty and fear had taken hold of all of us. I heard experts discussing theories, some more outlandish than others. Some said it was a failed scientific experiment, while others spoke of supernatural causes. But no one had clear answers. As I followed the news, I drew my own conclusions. There was something strange about all of this, something that didn't add up. The disappearances seemed random, but there was a subtle pattern. Most of the missing people had been in outdoor places, in contact with nature. I decided to stay in my apartment, feeling that being in a closed and familiar place might protect me. But as I continued watching the news, a strange hum began to fill the room. The lights flickered, and everything around me distorted. Before I could understand what was happening, I found myself in a completely different place. The sky was a sickly color, and shadows seemed to move on their own. I was in a terrifying and unknown dimension. Fear gripped me as I tried to find a way out. But everything was chaotic and twisted. Strange creatures lurked in the darkness, and time seemed to have lost its meaning. I then understood that I too was a victim of this strange rupture in time and space. My life had changed forever, and I would never return to my home, my family, the life I knew. Lost in this terrifying dimension, I realized I was not alone. There were others who had also been dragged here, people of different ages and backgrounds. We gathered in a desperate attempt to find a way to escape the sinister place. Together we explored the strange landscape before us. We found rivers of a viscous liquid that seemed to have a life of its own, and forests where trees whispered incomprehensible words. Each creature we encountered was stranger and more terrifying than the last, and we had to fight together to defend ourselves from the threats lurking in the shadows. Our group shared stories of what we had left behind in our world. Families, friends, homes. There were people silently crying for their loved ones, and others who held on to hope of finding a way back someday. But as days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, hope began to fade. We realized we were trapped in this twisted dimension, where time made no sense, and the laws of physics mocked us. The darkness of this dimension began to affect us, and our minds filled with nightmares. The bonds we had formed became more fragile as despair took hold of us. Reality itself seemed to dissolve around us, and our hopes of returning home slowly faded, leaving us trapped in an abyss of despair. And so, my story comes to its sad and desolate end. Trapped in a terrifying and hopeless dimension, those who remained faced an uncertain and dark fate. Our lives had become an endless nightmare, and the hope of returning to our previous world slowly vanished, leaving us trapped in a void of despair.